Hello, everybody.
Hello!
And welcome back to our Have a Chat series, our most fun series on their channel, where we have a guest from the Star Wars universe. Today, joining us, we have no other than Mike Kaess.
Woo! Yeah. So, for anybody who doesn't know what our Have a Chat series is, basically, we invite, like Jacob said, other members of the Star Wars community onto the show, and we have a chat. So, Mike Kaess, we're very happy to have you on the show. And so first and foremost, just let us know what your channel's all about.
Star Wars. No, it's actually not, but it's a good chunk of it is. I'm an avid completionist of the Star Wars Black Series line. So I do a lot of Black Series stuff on it. I also do the random unboxing, although those are winding down. And I have a semi-monthly podcast with another friend where we drink adult beverages and talk about Transformers for roughly an hour or so. It's called Bots and Shots, and that's pretty much it. But mostly it's Star Wars, because Star Wars is my first love for sure.
Very nice. I know, again, for all of us huge Black Series collectors, I like to say that we have just about everything in the line except for a few exclusives, and then my dad will get done watching the show and be like, well, technically you missed this and this. You need to stop saying that on the show. So I'm only going to keep saying that at this point just to infuriate him.
At this point, we have about 400 figures, and that's about the extent of what I know. I can't count like which ones we have. I'm like, we probably have it.
Last year I started a spreadsheet, so I have no idea how many figures I have. I have one of everything, of every unique figure made, except for one. There was a San Diego Comic-Con, I think it was 2015 or 2016. There was a centerpiece with Rey on the Starkiller base, and the Rey wasn't a figure, but it came with an unmasked Kylo Ren that was a figure, and he's basically just the unmasked Kylo Ren, but he has like a snow deco on him, and I don't have that one. And I just couldn't spend the money on an exclusive centerpiece just to get a repaint of a figure I already had. That was like that niche. I'm like, I'm not doing it. But everything else, I've got one of every unique figure, and that sounds like a brag, but it's really a cry for help.
See it as you will.
I know. I know, like for us, we also have, it's fun because we all have our little personal collections. So there's like this big centerpiece collection. We also have this little collection to ourselves that we have. I know mine has about close to like 150 Black Series figures now. And it's like, I've been dabbling in other things. I know I've been getting into Mission Fleet. Like, I dipped my toes in the water around Christmas time, and I was pleasantly surprised. And then I've just been getting a couple things here and there, and I'm afraid. I think I forget who I was talking to recently, but I said that I was really tempted that if I just like came upon like a lump sum of money, I would buy everything Mission Fleet and do a review of the entire line as it stands. I thought that'd be dope, but I don't have the financials for that. But I've also
in this economy? Jeez.
Exactly, right? But I've been getting into like TVC Clone Troopers. Those stay on card. So I have like my inbox stuff. But I mean, how did you get into collecting? Has it always been a thing for you? Like, or did it start with the Black Series?
No, I've been a toy collector since I was a small child. And in fact, as a child, I thought it was weird that like adults didn't collect toys. I was like, why doesn't my dad have toys? And like now as an adult, I realize he did. His toys were like his guitar and his stereo system and things like that. But when I was a kid, I'm like, where's your Transformers, Dad? How come you don't have any Transformers? Like, how come you don't ask for Transformers for Christmas? But like in Star Wars and whatnot, He-Man. So I've always collected toys, and I jumped out of it. I hit that point in high school and like early college years where girls don't really like guys that like toys. And
that's their loss.
Yeah, I agree. And I kind of fell into that, like, oh, I'm too old to do toys. And then I realized somewhere in like my mid 20s, like 25, 26, I was like, you know what? Screw that. Who cares? I'm going to collect toys. So I started recollecting toys around 2013 when the Black Series started, because I really wanted to get back into collecting Star Wars figures. But at that point, I'd been out for so long because I had every Power of the Force 2 figure from the inception of the line with the big beefy, Luke Skywalkers and we all know the ones. I had every one of those from 95 until about 99 complete. And then I had here and there like some of the sagas and the movies and stuff like that. Like I worked for KB Toys when episode 2 came out. So I got a couple of those. And then when episode 3 came out, I was there at midnight for Toys R Us and I bought, they had all their figures in like one of those kitty blue pools. And they were just like, you would just rummage around in them to pick out the figures you want. So, I got a couple of those, but I pretty much got out of it after that. And when I wanted to get back into it, like I had extra spending money and, I was at a spot where I'm like, I can buy toys again. There are just so many figures. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to buy. I felt like, like, where do I even start? So when they were like, oh, hey, here's the 6-inch scale Star Wars line that's starting brand new. And I was like, that's it. That's my starting point. I want to start here and see where it takes me. So it's been a fun ride so far.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And I think it's cool that you do a podcast about it.
Yes.
Do you do the podcast with Star Wars The Black Series? Or is that someone else I'm thinking of?
So there's 2 Star Wars The Black Series Instagrams. There's Star Wars The Black Series, who is with Fly Guy. And that's a different, I'm with the Star Wars Black Series, and that's Zach. That's my co-host. So they're both bigger-ish Instagrammers, although the Star Wars Black Series, Zach, if you're listening to this, you're not quite as big as the other one. You know that. You can look at the numbers, but he's a great guy. And we, in fact, just posted episode 15. I personally did. I just posted episode 15 about a half hour ago as of the recording of this podcast. So episode 15 is up. I usually do them on Saturday, but I was at TFCon all weekend. So I couldn't. That's my answer.
Interesting.
Are you a big con goer as well?
No.
I know, especially for, well, never mind.
Well, that answers that question.
No, kind of. The answer is kind of. Like I'm going to Star Wars Celebration in May, and I live in San Diego, so like San Diego Comic-Con's big here, and WonderCon's big here. I used to go to San Diego Comic-Con a lot before it got really hard to buy tickets. Like there was a point where you could, like back in the mid thousands, like when I was in high school, things like that. Like you could literally just roll up on Saturday morning, buy a ticket, and go in. It wasn't this big deal. But somewhere around 2008, it like if you didn't buy a ticket the moment they went on sale, like you were done. That was it. And I had some friends on the inside where like I borrowed their press passes or their media passes so I could go in for like a day. But it's too much, and I'm too lazy to do that stuff, I guess. But if it's a con that interests me and it's not a lot of work to get there, then I'll go. It's kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. We have a local con where we live, like a local Comic-Con, but it's so small. It's literally at like our public library, and there's like a couple like local shops that like will sell just comics or like used toys and things like that. And then like I remember one time they had a panel. There was these guys that dressed up as the Spartans from Halo, and they did a panel on how they created their armor completely out of EVA foam. So they did like there was that, but usually I think it's starting to grow. We also right next to the library there's like a convention center. I think they actually moved it to the convention center because it's starting to get bigger.
That's great.
Yeah, for the most part, it's a bunch of people just from around our area that like to cosplay. It's nothing huge. Yeah. It's not like we have like Pedro Pascal coming to our con to be like, hey guys, you want to get my autograph? It's like, no.
Well, the answer is yes, I do want to get his autograph. But you know what? That's how it starts, though. Like San Diego Comic-Con wasn't a big deal back in the mid 90s or whatever. Like it was kind of big, but it wasn't that big. So the little Comic-Cons like that, little conventions, like they could grow. You never know which one will make it big and will suddenly get popular. So keep going. You never know. You could be the founder.
That would be good.
We can get a booth at it.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Booth at the con.
Do a live recording. Interview people at the con.
Exactly.
That's not a good idea.
Be a bad idea to live stream it.
We've had like so many ideas that we'll throw around, and we'll be like, "Oh yeah, we could record that live," and then we'll look at each other and go, "Nah, we shouldn't record that live."
There's a lot of logistics in there that people don't realize that go on with like doing what you guys are doing what I do. Like like there's a lot of work that goes into it that people just
yeah.
don't realize. I mean, just you setting up like the lights and sound on your end when I first joined, like people don't see that stuff.
Trying to get it up as fast as
exactly.
I could.
No, you're good. I do this stuff. Like if I showed you my camera around here, you could see I've got just equipment everywhere. Like you only see the cool parts of my collection because that's what I show. That's the way I craft the room. But there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that people just don't realize how much work goes into this.
Yeah, and I think like as you start doing it more and as you get more in depth with it, you're constantly looking for ways to improve. So like I remember when Jacob and I started editing the podcast episodes, it would take 15 minutes and we'd be done just because we would just like link up the audio to the video, send it out. And now there are so many different things that we've done. Like we sing an a cappella version of the Book of Boba Fett theme at the end of every weekly episode, and we use like our viewers' figure photography in there. And that in itself probably takes me like half an hour just to put that minute and a half together. But it's just so much more of an involved process. And then I'll put an episode out, and like someone I know in real life will be like, "Man, I really think you could do this next time," and I'll just be like.
I just started dipping my toes into the thumbnails. Jackson used to do them, but we are currently planning for him to leave the States for.
Hey, we're not gonna say it because I didn't say anything.
Shut up, Jackson. He's gonna leave us. So, in the time that he's gone, I was like, I'll start doing the thumbnails. So I did for our last episode that went up today. I did the thumbnail for that, and it took me about 45 minutes because I decided I wanted to try to do something like a little extra with it because I absolutely adore the YouTube channel Corridor Digital and Corridor Crew.
Great.
Everything I've gotten about video making, filmmaking, anything about that has all come from them. That's all where my knowledge sits. So I do kind of mimic them in like the ways that they shoot things or the way that they do their lighting, or in this case, in their thumbnails. They have that very kind of like it's their staple blue background. So for my first one, I did a light blue background because I was like, they do it. I'm gonna do it too. So yeah.
I don't even do the thumbnails for mine. I mean, if mine's just not a picture that I took and I use my photo or my video editing software to create a thumbnail, so it's very basic. But for the podcast, I pay a guy in England like $5 to do my thumbnails.
Hey, whoever gets the job done.
That's right. You know, it's those little things that like I know they're important, but I just don't want to do them. It's just me. Well, like Zach's there too, and he handles some of the stuff, but I'm doing all the editing and stuff by myself. And there comes a point where it's like I know it's got to be done. I don't want to do it. So how much can I pay to have someone else do it?
That's what's kind of nice about there being three of us. We can pass the work off to each other if need be. Because when it comes to the editing, it's not like putting the pictures up at a correct time. Like if we mention a product, it's not like it's insanely difficult. It's just the fact that you have to sit there. You have to go through the entire podcast. You have to find where those moments are. Then you have to upload it, make sure it looks correct, and then continue trucking along and then go over it again just to make sure it's correct. So it's time consuming.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's roughly about twice as long as you record something it takes to edit it down, at least in my experience. So if I'm making like a 20-minute review, that's at least 3 hours worth of editing work, if not a little bit more than that.
I remember when the UCS gunship first came out, I was going to do a review of it.
Oh yeah.
And I spent maybe 2 hours recording the video, and the wings on the thing wouldn't stay on. If I moved it at all, they would fall off, and then it would be 30 minutes of me trying to put them back on. So at the beginning of the review, I was like, this is the UCS gunship. And by the end of it, I was like, I hate it. I was like, I can't upload this because my opinion of it went from like throughout the entire thing. So that's a scrap project that I think is still sitting on an SD card somewhere.
Honestly, you should release it. Some people might like to see it. It's weird. There are jokes. There are things I do or say that I don't think anyone will care about, but then those usually end up being some of my bigger ones. So it's really weird. Yeah,
exactly. I was going to even say for the thumbnails, it's probably good. Other people are doing it. The biggest disability that I will admit right now is Jacob and I are both colorblind. I'm probably worse than Jacob. So if anybody has nice representation,
Yeah.
Welcome to the party.
if anybody's been with us since the beginning and they've noticed the blues change throughout, like, because blue was the main color we would set for like the weekly episode, if that changes, or the orange for our special episodes, because I can't see it half the time. I have to literally walk to my roommates and be like, hey guys, is this the color orange? And then they laugh at me half the time, and I'm like, please help me find orange.
Yeah, no, that's a real big thing. Whenever I'm doing a review, before I even start writing the script, I hand the figure to my wife and like point out the colors. What colors are all these? And she'll spend like 15 minutes like, this is yellow, this is gold, this is gray. You know, like some of them I get, but there are some like I have no idea. Like I'll think something is yellow and it's green, or I don't know.
Yep.
I ran into that issue yesterday when I was making the thumbnail. The only problem is with me is my roommates don't care about me. So I asked them, I was like, hey, what color is this? And they just kind of be like, I was like, cool. So there's like, I tried to do some blue streaks in the background to break up the continuity of just like a plain light blue background. And all the blues are different colors. They're all different. I couldn't figure it out. So half of them are purple. Half of them are like almost teal. It's like, oops.
Yeah, colorblind problems are real. They're real issues.
That's facts.
Indeed. But I think too, like we tried to make a TikTok. So we like make TikToks every now and again.
Yeah,
sure.
And we tried, the three of us, put one together, and we were having technical difficulties with it and like with the editing. And it just got to a point where we were just getting so frustrated that we weren't enjoying trying to make it anymore. So we just had to take a break, like, and just like go back at it like 30 minutes later. And that's what you have to do sometimes too. And that can be like the most frustrating thing, because you're like, oh, I really want to finish it right now. But sometimes you just got to look at it with fresh eyes later on.
Yeah. I also have the problem, if I make something, I want, and like it's done, I want to release it right now. Like, it's 2 a.m. I probably shouldn't release it right now because like no one's awake. And it's better for the algorithms or whatever if you do it, you know, when people can actually watch it. But I have no patience. I want to just get it up because I'm proud that I've finished it or whatever. So it's really tough to do that. I'm really bad at pre-making videos like a week early because they're sitting there and I know they're there and I just want to post them. Yeah.
That's why I can't edit the stuff, because I want to edit it and then upload it immediately.
Yep.
That's what I do with the we do figure hunting vlogs every so often.
Sure.
And literally I do them in like an hour and I just press upload. I'm like, it'll be up when it's up. And then we'll put it in our Discord and the people that really like us will go watch it. And if somebody else kind of just finds it haphazardly, they'll find it. Especially with the last one I did, the intro to it. I did a mock of the Batman movie. Because the whole thing is like narrated from Bruce Wayne's perspective and it's all brooding. So I did some like slow cinematic dark shots of Tommy like outside his car with his headlights kind of backlighting him. And then I had dubbed it over with my best Batman voice talking about the state of Hasbro and how it's in disarray. And then it just went directly into the video, like right after it. And I was so proud of it. I was like, I need it to go up now. I need everybody to see it. So
yeah, it's really tough to do that. I don't understand, like, if like the big directors making big movies, like I don't understand how they don't just like I made the movie, go watch it right now. But they're like, no, we have a release date of 2 months from now, or I don't know, like, you know, like I don't know if I could do that. It's just there's so much in there. I'm so excited I made something. I'm terrible at this. I'm really bad at this.
But I am interested because I'm peeking around at that collection you got back there.
Oh yeah, sure. What do you?
Transformers, some Star Wars,
some Army of White.
Yeah, what you got?
Like Clone Troopers or Star Jacob.
And so,
we got Black Series, we got Transformers here, and then this shelf is Ninja Turtles, Mythic Legions, G.I. Joe, and Marvel Legends. And then on the side over here, because nobody cares, we've got Power Rangers Lightning Collection.
Interesting.
So I'm kind of eclectic when it comes to what I collect, I guess.
That's fair.
You want to
Sorry, my bad. Are those all? I mean, as much as you love Star Wars, are you like really, really like into those franchises, or do you feel like maybe you just collect them because they're like big at the moment?
Well, you know, it's really hard to say that because like. For something like Mythic Legions, for instance, There isn't a property outside of it's just a toy line that you can collect.
Right.
I got into it I don't know, like last year or so, because some of my other friends were collecting it. And I'm like, what is this? So when I got into that, I got a couple. I'm like, okay, I really like these. I like the idea. I like the feel. So I collect those because of that. Marvel Legends, I definitely got into because it was like the popular thing to get. And I have tons of them. I've got a box in my garage just full of Marvel Legends that I just like. They were cool at the time, but now I don't really care about them anymore. The ones down here are mostly like the Jim Lee X-Men because I do like the X-Men stuff. So I collect that. G.I. Joe, I've wanted a 6-inch G.I. Joe line since I started collecting Black Series. I'm like, ooh, what if they did this, but G.I. Joe's, So like I've wanted that for a while. I've been a G.I. Joe person for as long as I've been a Star Wars person or as long as I've been a Transformers person, which those are my earliest like nostalgic things I liked as a kid. So they kind of still stuck with me. So Transformers and Star Wars are about equal. And then everything else is kind of tearing down. Speaking of which, that's why I wore this shirt.
I did see that. It's very nice.
Yeah, it's a fun mashup between Star Wars and Transformers, which is just basically my life. So
I was gonna say, was Transformers a big part of your childhood, you would say? I mean, for much as you love Star Wars.
Well, I would say for a while, Transformers was the biggest part of my Star Wars, my childhood, because I didn't really get into Star Wars until like middle school for me. So that was because I graduated 2000, so that was like mid 90s, like 90, 94, 95 is when I got really into Star Wars, which is weird because that was like the Star Wars dark times. There weren't really any movies. The only thing they had was like books and some video games and things like that. So, but that's when I really got into Star Wars.
I had a Transformers phase when I was a kid for a little bit. And a lot of the stuff that they've been putting out media-wise for Transformers has been really good. I saw the first couple episodes of that new Transformers TV show. I don't remember what it is. It's like definitely animated. But I really liked it and I need to finish watching it. But also the Bumblebee movie was
I love the Bumblebee movie.
Phenomenal. It was so good. I'm not like of the opinion of like, oh, the Michael Bay movies suck, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, they're not my favorite. I don't sit down and like get excited to watch them. But the Bumblebee movie, I think it's because the designs, like I was into the Generation 1 looks for a lot of the Transformers. And I think that for the most part, especially for Optimus, them going back to that Generation 1 look where he talks through the mask rather than having a mouth that articulates. I think that really like put that movie really high up for me. And then I think it's War for Cybertron, or I forget what the show is called.
The Netflix one?
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
This is the part where Jacob and I have to say we have not watched the Transformers movies.
Hey,
that's okay. That's okay.
When did you see them, bro? I got it. I've been watching a whole lot of everything. I've been getting into because I never used to have the attention span to sit down and watch movies. But now I find myself like I like long content. So I just finished watching Turning Red, Pixar's new movie. I watched that
last night. Yeah,
it was really good. I really liked it. And probably either tonight or tomorrow, I'm gonna watch a movie on HBO Max. It's called Drive My Car. It's like an emotional movie, like it's a drama, and it's supposedly people are saying it might get a nomination for Best Picture for this year. So I was like, okay, I'll check it out. It's probably gonna be like an art movie, but granted, the Joker got a Best Picture award, so I'm like, it's probably
it's not saying much. Yeah.
Imagine having the time.
I make the time, but
Jackson, I always have stuff going while I'm doing other stuff. Like if I can't watch it while I'm working, like I can't watch anime anymore because it's always like subtitles in Japanese. I don't know Japanese, and I don't have I can't just sit there and read it. So like I just don't watch anime anymore, I guess.
I was just gonna say real quick, Jackson and I had like a nanosecond in time where we were in Transformers because we had these things. I don't know.
Oh, the Star Wars Transformers. Yeah.
We have
those are the most frustrating transformations. Like, did you ever have Solo? Did you ever have the Republic Gunship one?
I never owned any of them. I have played around with them. Yeah.
These ones are impossible. We had to be like, Mom, Dad, help. We don't know how to do it.
Like, this one is barely together and it's missing pieces, and we don't know.
Yeah, that one, I think,
And then we also had the it was the TIE Bomber, and that one turned into like a TIE fighter pilot, or it was Darth Vader is what it turned into.
Is that the one that is a half Chewbacca, half Han Solo?
Yeah.
You have to be careful with that one because it has gold plastic syndrome. The gold plastic in there can crumble at for no reason. So it's a big problem. Yeah. Yeah, it already did. So it's fine then. Yeah, you're good. Yeah.
It's in pieces, and I don't know where they are.
That's why.
I knew where they were.
Yeah, Hasbro in the 90s and up to early thousands, they used the gold color plastic. It turns out it's really brittle. So after a couple years, it just crumbles. So it's a big issue. Yeah.
Nice. Dang. Thank you, Hasbro.
Yeah.
You love the budget cuts.
Well, they didn't know back then. Like, you know,
yeah, I was gonna say,
you know, and
they knew what they were doing.
Yeah, there's never some big conspiracy. I feel like people always think because Hasbro is a corporation, there's always some kind of big conspiracy. Like, I think people are giving Hasbro too much credit sometimes for how evil they are. You guys have really good evil faces right now.
We thank you. We've been. This is a perfect time to start segueing into, because I know that a lot of our guests that we've had are like big collectors, but it's fun to talk about other things. I feel like, you know, when we have a lot of conversations with people, it's fun to go and like branch out to things that are not strictly Star Wars or strictly collecting. But now that you mention it, we are very much of the opinion, like we'll come out and we'll like, people will like trash on a figure or something like that. And with like Lucasfilm, people will trash on and nitpick stuff that Lucasfilm puts out. And we're always the first ones to like jump out and not like angrily defend it, but just be like, hey, from a standpoint of logic and reasoning, here's probably what their mindset was when they did this. But I'm gonna be honest with you, the black Chewbacca figure just didn't do it for me. But
no,
I but like,
yeah, I don't think anyone would ever disagree with you. I don't think it's a good. I just think it's all about a matter of perspective. Because again, Hasbro, Patrick did a Q&A back after the last live thing, where there's a lot of times where they don't get figures, like they don't get a list or they don't get pictures or any information on stuff before it shows up on screen. So what they probably did was they got a list of figures, like these names are going to be popular in upcoming stuff, and Black Chrysanthemum is right there. At the time, the only Black Chrysanthemum is in a comic book, and you're like, okay, easy Chewbacca repaint, because the only thing he's ever been in is this comic. And while it's not super accurate, it's also not a big character. Nobody cared about Black Chrysanthemum until he put on the mask. You know, like until Book of Boba Fett, nobody gave a crap about Black Chrysanthemum. And if Book of Boba Fett never happened and they made this Black Chrysanthemum figure that's just a black Chewbacca, yes, it still wouldn't be great because it's not a great mold. On a list of worst molds, it's probably in the bottom 10 in terms of like posability and accuracy and things like that. But at the same time, like nobody knows his character, so who cares? But unfortunately, he was the most popular character in a very popular show, or one of the more popular characters in a very popular show. And he does have, in a live action anyway, a very distinctive look. So when you look at that next to what they did, it looks even worse than it would have had that not happened. So it really is all about that kind of perspective, I guess. But no, it's not good. It never was good. It was definitely it was a softball. They were like, okay, yeah, we can do this real easy, real cheap. We can make some money and make some nerds happy. Except for it kind of backfired on them.
Yeah. I mean, granted, in my opinion, it does look like a turd with arms and legs.
It does. It does.
I hate the Wookiee body.
It's not a good body. No,
you got to add like an ab crunch to it or something, because it looks like a stick and it has arms. Like, and on the photos, it's like.
Yeah. No, and it's limited by the rubber fur. Yeah, it
looks bad. It's so
Hasbro really needs to go back and just they need to rethink how they do that. There's got to be a better way. Like SH Figure Arts did a decent Chewbacca, like there's better ways to do it. I don't know what it is. I'm not paid to do that. I just know that it's what they have isn't working.
Right. See, I'm even going to be honest as well, even thinking about like more controversial figures. I am a huge Boss defender. I feel like people hated Boss way too much. And again, as someone who's colorblind, The color looks accurate to me. That was one of the
Me
things
too.
that people were complaining about. They were like, the color is wrong. And I was like, okay, if I look at a picture of Republic Commando and then the figure, it looks the same to me. Maybe for
Yeah.
someone who can see better, it's a slightly different shade, but I'm fine with it. But
You know
at the
what?
same time, sure, maybe could they have done a little bit something different with the armor? Okay, but I feel like it's proper on the hunter body to begin with. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm fine with it at the end of the day. Sure, does it still have Hunter's knife slot? Yeah, that's lazy. I'll admit it. But like, I still think it's a good figure and I'm hyped for it.
I think they could have beefed it up a little bit, but that's like because I feel like because the Commandos, they're not like skinny like the actual clones. They're yoked.
In
So
the
it's like
Clone Wars, they're skinny like the clones.
That is facts.
I'm just saying.
That is facts. They just wear
Market
bulky
it as a Clone
armor.
Wars
They're
figure.
big boned.
And so, like, that's the other thing I point out. Big bone, thick skin, a whole lot of organs. That's all I gotta say about that. But
Well-
no, I think honestly, when you look at the Gaming Greats line,
Mhm.
that is like, and again, same with like the comic line that they're doing. It's heavy reuse. They're
Yes.
reusing as much as
Yep.
they can to put out more obscure figures that would not show up in the main line. Now,
Absolutely.
if they would have put him in the main line and it would have been looking like that, I would totally get people complaining because it's in the main line where they do a lot of new sculpts and new molds. And so, like, if they would have just repainted the hunter body, stuck a different helmet on it, and said, "Here is Boss" in the main Galaxy art packaging, then I would have been like, okay, that's really lazy. But because they could do better with that. But when it's like a heavy reuse line, and I know for a fact we would never ever be getting Boss any other way,
Exactly.
I'll take
Yeah.
what I.
yeah.
I completely agree with you. And I also have a personal rule where I don't judge things like color until I see it in person because photography can be weird, especially colors, because the lighting, the color correction they use, whatever the camera lens, all that stuff can change the way something looks. Where in real, like in person, it looks one way, and then on camera, on screen, it looks completely different. So for me personally, and there have been a bunch of instances, like what was one that I can think of off the top of my head? Padme. When the Padme figure was first shown off back in 2018 or whatever, when they showed that off, the prototype looked awful. The face wasn't great, whatever. But then in hand, I'm like, okay, this looks pretty good. So, until you get something in hand, it's really hard to accurately judge if something's going to be really good or really bad. I don't think Black Chrysanthemum's going to be one of those things. I think we all know it's going to be pretty bad. That's okay. But there are other things where, like, well, for instance, the Princess Leia archive that just came out. At first, I was like, oh, they used the wrong head. And then I had in hand. I'm like, oh, actually, which head did they use? I can't really tell that well because they both look different. And then I realized I hate it because they use that glossy finish. And the glossy finish makes it look really bad. So I don't know. Like, it's all over the place sometimes.
That's one thing I started dabbling in this a little bit. But I started picking up the DC figures for the new Batman movie. And one thing I noticed when I was on the faces, especially for this Batman without a cowl figure.
Yeah.
It has a matte finish on the face.
Yeah,
it's not
the matte
glossy.
finish is way better.
And I
don't
think
know
it
why.
looks really good. So it doesn't look plasticky. Although, like, for the
Right.
eyeshadow, it does look like they just took spray paint and went. Tsk. But then again, I like a matte face rather than it looking like he just got out of a bath filled with baby oil.
Or it looks like he just had a hard workout or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird that Hasbro's been doing this glossy finish thing, and I really wish that they would stop.
At least for the faces. The faces
Yeah.
and hair need to be a matte finish. Everything else can be glossy.
See, here's a question I've been actually dying to ask on the show for quite some time. If you get a figure that you really like, so let's say an example, I really like the Hunter Bad Batch figure, but he has the glossy head. Do you believe in altering that figure for the sake of your collection, or because you already have it, are you just going to keep it the way it is? Because truthfully, I've thought about using, because Out of the Basement did a video where like there's like that spray that you can buy that makes it matte and completely get rid of the gloss. But do you believe in altering it though, or keeping it the way you got it?
That's a personal question. I think there isn't really a right or wrong answer for that. For me personally, I don't like to alter my figures. The way they come is the way they are. Whether I like them or not, that's fine. Like, but I don't like changing them. And it's not for like resale value or anything, because I don't collect for value. I get tons of questions on my YouTube channel about like people asking, how much is this worth? Or should I get this or this? I'm like, I don't know. I don't see figures like that. If you want to invest in something, go buy some stocks. Go waste your money on an NFT or something like that. You know, be part of that Ponzi scheme. But for toys, like they're toys. If you're buying them because they're worth something, I feel like you could spend your money better.
Oh,
Right.
exactly.
It's
Yeah.
like for us, we have the Comic-Con Thrawn
Right.
set. And
Yeah.
it's not like we got that because, oh my gosh, it's gonna go up in value and it's gonna pay for my college. It's like, no, we love Thrawn.
Yes.
And
it's got that cool Jedi Temple Guard helmet on.
yes,
Yes.
it's like it's just a straight up cool figure. It's one of our favorite characters. And just speaking on Thrawn, I just want to mention this real quick. During this week, we were trying to find some more guests to have on Have a Chat because we're like, oh, who can we ask? And I was like, why not ask Timothy Zahn, the guy that created Thrawn? So I found him on Facebook and I sent him a really long and professional message. And like, I usually don't do this, but I looked over it like multiple times to make sure that the grammar was right, the spelling was right. I'm like, this dude is an author. If I
He's an
misspell
author.
it,
Yeah,
he's
absolutely.
gonna overlook it.
Yep.
And we actually got a response, which blew me away. And it was a very respectful, no, thank you, don't ask again. So,
but it was a response.
The fact that the man that created probably one of my favorite characters of all time acknowledged my existence is enough for me. So that will be a screenshot, and I will frame it and put it on my wall.
Well, congrats.
But no, I don't think you should collect figures because you're like, oh, someday this will have value. Because it's gonna be like Beanie Babies. You're gonna think it's gonna have value, and
It's
then
like
out of nowhere,
figure.
Yes, I agree. I don't do. Someone asked me if I open my pops or not. I said no. I leave them on the shelf in the store. I don't know, man. Someone sent me because for a while one of the big figures I didn't have was the Comic-Con Boba Fett from the Kenner colors, the Kenner Boba Fett. Someone sent one to me, and the first thing I did was I opened it up. I just like, this is gonna go on my shelf. Like I don't care if this is worth $200. I don't care if this is worth $20. Like I like feeling my figures. I like interacting with my figures. I buy them because they're toys, not because they're display pieces, not because they're valuable. I buy them because I like them. I like messing around with my toys. I don't know.
Yeah, most of the figures that we have in box behind us were out of box at one point. It's just the fact that we ran out of space on our main shelf and we didn't want to clutter our saver shelf.
Yeah.
So we're like, we could just display them in the box because
I've started doing that too. I've got all my carbonized figures on my wall over here just because like I don't have room for 5 Mandalorian figures on my shelf. So the carbonized went back in the box, you know.
Yeah.
I've got credit collection ones on my wall, and I'm not going to open those. And those are the only ones I've got that I'm not going to open, just because I do like how they look in the credit collection like boxes. I like the display there, so I bought those for displays. Sure, I guess I'm a hypocrite there, but everything else gets open. Like
for most of our con figures, like we have like the Trapper Wolf, we have the I forget if it was the Comic-Con Rex, if it was Comic-Con or if it was HasCon.
HasCon. It was HasCon. Yep.
The figures that are like that, we leave them in the box because it's a figure that either already exists or the package is so special to it. I don't want to just rip it out of the package. I feel like the packaging to it is part of the figure itself, the display of it. So it's like those are going to stay in, but it's like we have a Rex open on the shelf. So it's like we don't need to rip that one open. We have the Bad Batch Rex on the shelf. So I mean, it's not like we don't have a Rex out already. Yeah.
No, I agree. There are instances where I kind of do that too. Just because, like you said, you don't need multiples. Like I've got the exclusive armor with the fur and the extra stuff, and then I've got the regular armor, and like you don't need 2 of the same person on the shelf. You know, you have the representation, and you're right. Sometimes the packaging is really part of that, and that's one of the reasons why I got Black Chrysanthemum. Actually, kind of bringing that back around was I really love the comic boxes, and I line the back of my shelf up here with those comic boxes. They're the back of the shelf. So I'm going to do the same thing with the next 4 comic boxes that come out, because Black Chrysanthemum is the first one. And, you know, there's the rumors of what the next 3 are going to be, like the White Vader and the Princess Leia and things like that. So when those come out, I don't care if they look awful or look great. I'm going to buy them because I want the box to go in my collection because the box looks great.
I totally agree.
But I think, did you get the Tartakovsky Grievous?
I did.
Did
It should be
you-
here tomorrow, actually.
Okay, so did you get? So I bought 2 of them, and
Yeah.
I got the Walmart gods. I've had the worst luck with Walmart, and Walmart said your suffering has ended, and so they sent me the figures, and the card backs were not damaged. So I got 2 of them, and I opened
Nice.
one, and I have one that's gonna stay on card.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, I was pleasantly surprised. I haven't had the chance to compare this Grievous with my original episode 3 Grievous yet, but I will say that I'm almost positive that either they made the hands tighter or they made the lightsaber hilts bigger because they fit so snugly in his hands, whereas the old Grievous, they flop all around.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And at least mine, I know some other people have not had this experience, but at least for mine, his joints are a lot more stiff and sturdy. I was able to get him in a one leg like kicking pose and like balance on
That's
that
pretty
one
good.
leg. Yeah, so I mean, it took me a couple minutes, obviously, because you got to find that like center of gravity. But to be able to do that with that figure, that is the embodiment of Grievous from that show for me, is to
Yeah.
fit a lightsaber in his foot and have him like, standing around poised to attack.
Well, especially from the Tartakovsky version, because
Yes.
that's something he did really kind of in the Clone Wars, but he never did anything cool like that in Revenge of the Sith, so definitely that was more of a Tartakovsky thing. I bought a bottle of that Kiki Fix Loose Joint stuff for my Grievous. I have it around here somewhere. I was going to show it, but I don't know where it is. Anyways, it's basically, I have no idea what it is. It's like a white viscous stuff that doesn't glue it, but it definitely tightens joints. And once I've done that, my original Grievous actually holds up pretty tight. So that was one of the things I was going to compare it to as well whenever I get it tomorrow, I guess. So I'll do that video sometime. I have a whole pile of figures here that I have to do reviews on that I haven't even opened. So I've got a lot of work.
Carbonized?
Yeah, they're the Carbonized. I got the Carbonized. I got the First Order Disney pack.
Woo!
Sorry, Tom.
I got I got Antok Merrick. And I just got I never buy SH figure arts, but at the convention, I bought the Boba Fett SH figure art. Yeah, I know.
That'd be cool.
That actually is a purchase that I wasn't planning on buying because I don't buy SH figure arts, but everyone's talking about how great this stupid figure is. And I saw it there and I was like, all right, I'll buy it.
Must be destiny.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Our good friend Skywalker Hendricks has the SH figure arts Boba, and he was taking pictures of it for me. And I was like, that's really cool and all, but I'm not spending that much money on that.
I know it's expensive. That's like 4 Black Series figures. It was $180. Even with the price increases at $25 a pop, that's 4 figures right there instead of, So I 100% agree. I don't know why I bought it. It was just one of those things. You're at a con, you're already spending a bunch of money. You're like, what's another $100? Why not? I put it on the credit card anyway. It's all a business expense. That's one of the things when you start doing YouTube and stuff. You're like, oh, if I use this on the channel, it's now a business write-off. So
that's what I was saying. I've already been planning this out.
Yeah. Oh, the convention's a business write-off.
Star Cruiser, it's a business expense.
Oh yeah, I had when the Rancor started, I bought 3 of those Rancors, business write-off.
Dude,
I saved my Patreon for that though. It wasn't just like I have an extra $1,200 lying around.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah,
on that Rancor.
I'm sorry. I don't want to bring up a sore topic. I just
we have it. Actually.
We have it right here. Actually,
oh, look at that.
We do have it.
That's the 2008. No,
this is the HasLab.
Yeah, this is the HasLab. This is the HasLab.
This is totally.
It's not.
It is. No, it absolutely.
You guys are liars. You're little liars.
See, it has the finger articulation. Yeah,
it can do the T pose like how it could in the video.
We're just not going to show you right now.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it right now.
No, it's cool, guys. My dad works for Nintendo, so I get all the cool games. Yeah,
my dad works for Xbox. I'll get you kicked off the game.
So I did want to say real quick about those Carbonized figures. So we are always like trashing on the Carbonized line, and we've always been like, get rid of it, it's garbage, whatever. Yeah. And then I bought we all have the
Yes.
Shore Trooper and the Scout Trooper. And let me say, the figures look very, very nice.
Yes.
And I retract all of my former statements about the Carbonized collection.
So the main topic of Black Series Cantina episode 15 that I just posted is carbonized figures. And that's one of the reasons why. And, it started off as like, they chose 4 random figures from the Force Friday release back in 2019. And they're like, these are the carbonized versions or whatever. And some of them were cool. Some of them were not. Like I think the Mandalorian is awful because they changed they changed the color of him. Like it's not just they made the armor bit shiny, they changed the hue of like his body and like the cloth and whatnot. And I don't like that because it makes it film inaccurate. I think if they really want to do carbonized, like with the Sith Trooper and like the Jet Trooper or like Darth Vader or the Stormtrooper, they're mostly armor, so it kind of works. But figures that aren't mostly armor, I feel like it doesn't really work that well. But you're right. The new ones that just came out look great. And Paz Vizsla looks fantastic.
Yeah. I like the carbonized Paz Vizsla more than I like the original one.
I do too. I really do. And it's dumb, but I love it.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah.
It's like
I'm right there with you guys. I was not a fan of the carbonized line at all. But I think these 3 are good. I don't know why they exist. I don't know why they did them. But I'm kind of thankful they did, I guess.
Yeah. So here's where I'm at. I wanted to run this by you because this is a thing that we constantly are bringing up.
Okay.
And so we like the carbonized. We like the gaming greats.
Yeah.
You know what we don't like?
Okay.
The credit collection. I think the credit collection is pointless. But it sells. I don't know why it sells, but it does. But what I will say is everyone's always screaming more clones, more stormtroopers, like do this character, that character, And so I've always like just questioned like why Hasbro doesn't just, because it's literally just repaint after repaint after repaint with the exact same figure, whether it's a stormtrooper or a clone trooper or even like First Order. There's a couple different designs that haven't been made. And so my proposal, this is like my idea that the 3 of us came up with, is like, why don't they just like give something to the fan channels and just be like, okay, we're going to do like this many troopers a year and like set it aside from the main line and just be like, okay, you can get them. Here's a Legion. You can get it as a case or you can get it just one. Or there's like an assorted case of like, a couple stormtroopers, a couple clone troopers, like a couple named ones, a couple legions. And so I just wanted to, what do you think of that kind of an idea? Because at the same time, like I get you don't want to oversaturate the market with it because then if you do too many named clones, most people are only going to buy one of them. Yeah. Like I'm only, if I see there's hard case or like waxer or something like that, I'm only getting one. But
if
you
don't need more than one waxer.
A Legion, like, like the Galactic Marines or the 212th, which is never coming to the States, or, like other figures like that, I would consider getting more than one. So I just wanted to run that by you, what you think about that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about your specific solution to it, but I definitely agree that something, especially in 2022, with the way distribution and all that stuff is, something needs to change. Yeah. A couple of companies like NECA and 4 Horsemen with Mythic Legions, the way they do it, I would like it if Hasbro kind of adopted something of that, but I just don't think they ever will because they're too set in the way that things have always been. And that's kind of a problem with big corporations like that, is it's always worked before. So why change it? Why make it different? When something definitely needs to change. So I think that is a great solution that you said. Like, it would be cool. Like, okay, I want to order 5 Marines because that's how many I want. And I don't have to go to a bunch of different stores to find them. I don't have to steal things off the pegs, because I always feel bad about those. When you have a army builder, like when I first saw the first time they released battle droids, I'm like, okay, I see this full wave here. It's got 2 battle droids in the pack. I'm going to buy both of them. I'm not going to leave one on the shelf because I want 2 battle droids, But that means that the next person behind me, they get whatever I left behind, and that sucks. So I think having some way for everyone to get what they want without fighting each other and without having that anxiety of missing out, the FOMO. And I think that's really what Hasbro needs to combat. So for instance, NECA just did with the Turtles line. And I'm after this, I'm officially done with the Turtles line, by the way. But they just did a pre-order for Usagi Yojimbo, which is one of my favorite characters. He's a bunny guy, a bunny samurai, and some neutrinos, which is some alien characters. I don't care about those, but I wanted Yojimbo, the Usagi Yojimbo. So I bought him, and now I don't have to worry. I don't have to go to Target every day, hoping that the NECA rep put those out. I just have to wait for him to come in, and I'll be happy. I don't care when that comes in, as long as I get it, as long as it ships, I'll be all right. Same thing with Mythic Legions. They do a pre-order where it's like, okay, these are the next wave of figures that we're doing. You can order literally as many of them as you want. They'll come out in about a year because they have to make them after that. So they have this pre-order window where it's like a month and a half where anyone can order as many as they want. You want 5 of every dude, you want just 1 of a dude, whatever. You can buy it, and then a year later when they're done making them and they ship them back to the States, they ship you what you ordered. And then there are people, they bought extras to sell. And you know what? That's cool too, because they didn't take anything away from those people to buy them. They bought it. It was made to order. They got those made. They literally invested their money. It's the same thing with HasLabs. I don't have any problem with anyone buying extra HasLabs to sell because it's the same concept. You're funding that to get created. You're not buying it and taking it away from someone else and then selling it for more and penalizing the people that didn't get it. You are putting money into it and funding something that wouldn't have existed otherwise. So I think it's a better model doing that. Some kind of hybrid of that I think would be really cool. But I just don't see Hasbro ever doing it, unfortunately, because that's just not the way things are done.
It's never made sense to me as to how you could sell out of a pre-order. I'm like,
I agree.
Product doesn't exist yet.
Well, no, the problem is when they go for pre-order like that, it does exist. By the time we see figures, like they announce figures, those figures are already in production. Stores have put in orders for them, things like that. So those figures do exist, and they have a finite amount of them because, unfortunately, that's not the way they do pre-orders. They don't pre-order them, make the order, because it takes a year for that to happen. That's why it takes a year from the time you order a Mythic Legion figure to the time you get it, because they have to make them. Whereas when you see something drop on Dorkside Toys or Big Bad Toy Store, those figures are already on their way to the States or already well into production. And they might see a big demand of it and go, okay, we need to make another run, like a second run of that. But it's not being, it's an afterthought rather than like already bought. But that's how pre-orders can sell out, because they aren't limited. They've only made so many of them. And it's a flawed system that used to work, but doesn't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, at the very least, my quickest solution to get more figures that we want would just be get rid of the credit collection. Get rid of the credit collection.
I don't agree with that, because I don't see it as a zero-sum system. I don't think them making credit collection means they're not making something else, especially something as simple as the credit collection. I think what I do think they should do is they should make stuff like that very limited run on fan channel. Don't spread it around to 100 different vendors. You know what, Hasbro? I don't know if you're listening to this, Hasbro. Stop that.
Stop it, Hasbro.
Just friggin' stop it.
Stop it.
Stop it. If they had a wave of figures and you had to go to 20 different stores to get all those figures, stop that. That's awful. That's like literally Satan whispered into your ear, and it's like, hey, you guys know it would be a good idea if people had to go to 30 different stores to complete their collection. Yeah, that's terrible. Don't do that.
Gas money.
Yeah, exactly. That's
like
awful.
The Knights of Ren thing you had to do.
Oh my gosh! So I used to be super into the Funko Pops, and
we all go through some weird periods. Okay.
Yes. And so I still have them all. But that's how it was leading up to episode 9. We were all so excited for the release of episode 9.
Sure.
And, leading up to that, they were releasing a bunch of Funko Pops for the movie, and so I was getting all of them. And the thing about the Knights of Ren was there was 6 of them, but all of them, each of them was exclusive to a different vendor or store.
Yep.
So there was one.
That's terrible.
There was one that you could only get if you bought like this. I think it was from like Funko Shop or something, like this like monthly box that came with like a set and like a t-shirt and other things. And then there was another one that was a Funko Shop exclusive. You could only get it online. Then there was GameStop, FYE, Hot Topic, and Walmart.
Okay.
And like it was just such a hassle to get all 6 of them. And that's why I still have all 6 of them, because I look at them and I'm like, I did that.
That was a lot of work.
Annoying, but I did it.
That's why I display my the holiday figures from last year or 2 years ago, I guess now, is that was like you had to go to Walmart, you had to go to Target, you had to get one off Amazon, Best Buy. Like I don't care if they're Christmas only. They're up on my bookshelf downstairs because they're neat, I guess.
I have them.
Yeah,
cool.
I can't wait for the next ones. I was really mad we didn't get the next ones, but I get
when this one out.
Well, I'm guessing they're like, we missed the Christmas window, and who's gonna buy, who's gonna buy some holiday figures in February?
July.
Yeah, there you go. See, there's ideas. Yeah, I'm right there. Whenever they do it, I want that abominable Wookiee. I want that the Mandalorian one. Like, there's so many good ones. Like I like them
killer
all.
C-3PO with the sweater.
Exactly.
The Scout Trooper with the bag to hit Grogu.
Yeah, there's a lot of great reasons why to get them. But like we said, those are dumb repaints. But I don't think they took anything away, because the way Hasbro sees it, Hasbro releases the same amount of new figures every year. I don't care what anyone says. Since the line came out in 2013, well, actually, that's not true. When the line came out in 2013, I think only like 6 figures came out that year, the first 2 waves or whatever. But from like 2016 on, we've had about the same 13 to 16 figures every year. And then anything else on top of that is just like extra. That's the way Hasbro sees it. Like they have their main line releases, like you kind of said, where like these are brand new figures. They put a lot of work into them. They're like the star that everything revolves around. And then they've been sprinkling in more and more extra stuff, like the credit collection and the holiday figures and the carbonized figures, where they're low effort because they don't take a lot of resources. They're mostly already made. They just throw together a new box, maybe some new paint prototypes or whatever. And then that's it. They can just throw it out and they get more money off those molds. See, it's a business. You're like, they're not doing this for a charity. They're not doing this because it's a passion project. They're doing it because they know nerds like me will shell out for money for it. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Like, yeah, I know what this is. I'm not going to Hooters and pretending and thinking the waitress is really into me. Like, I know she's flirting with me for a tip. Like, I know that.
I mean, she is,
but maybe not.
But maybe not.
She want me. She want me.
No, she really likes me, man. She really likes me.
It's like a Ted Bundy kind of mindset. Yo, she want me.
No. But I think one of the problems people have is kind of like they have my mindset where like I am a completionist, but I feel like a lot of people have a completionist mindset. Like whenever there's a figure that comes out that they don't like or they're not going to buy, they take it as like a personal insult. Like how dare Hasbro make something that I'm not specifically into,
right?
And I think that's a weird issue a lot of people have. Like, yeah, they made something that you don't like. Get over it. Just move on. Find something you do like. You don't have to buy everything. It's fine. In fact, when they did the archive line, I've got all those. I don't need to buy them. Like the last one, I've got the 3PO. I've got the Lando, and I wasn't sad. I was like, yeah, 4 figures I don't have to buy. This is great. But then I ended up pre-ordering the Emperor Palpatine because I'm stupid and I kind of
that's fair.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Wow. No, I totally agree. Even with the wave that came out with Boba Fennec, and then it was Dr. Evazan and Ponda Baba. Sure, like Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan, I would see more so as the shelf warmers. They haven't hit here yet at all, so maybe we'll never see them again. But like, I'm not buying the entire case because I don't want every figure in that case.
Yeah,
I feel like what you said, people want a case with only figures they want, because if they don't get a figure that like they think is good, then it was a waste of Hasbro's time to make it. When you have to think about other people in the community, not
Exactly.
a huge OT collector, but I know they're Black Series OT collectors only.
Yep.
And that's fine. Collect what you love at the end of the day.
Exactly. There are people that have been waiting for Ponda Baba and Dr. Evazan.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Since the line started, they're like, "Oh, where's my Ponda Baba? Where's my Dr. Evazan?" You know,
And they look good too.
They do look good. And you know what? They're all almost 100% reuse, but they're really good reuse. Dr. Evazan has Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker arms. That's crazy. I had no idea. You know, he's got DJ pants.
Wow.
Yeah,
Actually, I had no
exactly.
idea. Wow.
Yeah.
Because the one dude's jacket's the same as Luke's Ceremony's jacket, but it's just a
Yeah,
different-
Ponda Baba is basically just Luke's
Yeah.
ceremony with the
Yeah.
big
Yeah,
head.
because then
but
people. are
but
trying
you
to
know
think-
what? It works. Like it works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you just put the walrus head on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Or the one from the last wave. What's her face? Ayla Sakura. Not Ayla Sakura. That's not. She's not out yet.
Talk about,
Ara
Aura
Singh. She
Yeah.
is Admiral Holdo, and the only reason I know that is because when I did my Admiral Holdo review, I took her dress off to see what was underneath, and I'm like, "Whoa, this granny's got a rockin' bod." And I did.
You did
Hold on.
what?
First of all, I'm an efficient reviewer, and if I'm going to review a figure, I'm going to review the figure. Okay.
Dude,
He said, "Listen, what's under here."
that
Yeah.
that reminds me. Jake Jackson wasn't in this group yet, but in high school we all did singing classes together.
Sure.
And
yeah.
so my senior year of high school, Jacob and I were in this group. It was called Vocal Jazz. We were just a jazz singing group, and we did this thing on Valentine's Day where people could basically buy like candy grams, and we would travel the city, and all day we got to skip school. We would just to
That's
go
fun. Yeah.
and sing, like they would pick what song we would sing for them, and we had a list of like 12 songs. We'd go sing it. So we went to this one nursing home.
No,
And-
that one.
We like got into like the common area, like the rec room where all the old people were, and we sang the song, and we like finished singing the song. We're standing there, and some guy like in a wheelchair in the back of the room goes, "Great, now take off all your clothes." And we were just like,
And then we said bye.
yeah, then we just like
Yeah.
we just didn't know what to do, so we
No,
just
we-
left.
we're in high school. Thank you.
I think I was like 7. No, I had to have been 8. I just turned 18.
Oh,
He
man,
was like
that's
what, 15
funny,
or
though.
He was
16.
15 or 16 at the time.
That's
so
funny.
funny. It was,
That's really funny.
That man is a predator.
Yeah. Look into that guy. Make sure there's nothing under his bed he shouldn't be.
He might not be with us anymore.
We
Actually,
don't
that's probably true.
I remember on that same day in my group, we went to a different nursing home, and just as we were walking in, they were wheeling somebody out in a body bag. And I remember one of the girls that was in our group, her grandma was staying that home and wasn't doing well that week, so she thought that was her grandma, and she was like the entire time we were just like, this is going horribly. So we still had to go to some lady and sing for her. Half the group is crying, half the group is laughing at the situation because we don't know how to handle it.
No,
So
yeah,
just
that's
like-
my go-to. If I don't know how to handle a situation, I laugh. I can't help it.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was terrible.
Oh.
That crumbled to pieces. It wasn't
Like
her
Han
grandma.
Solo Millennium Falcon Transformer.
Yeah, exactly.
Wah, wah.
Exactly.
But so we got a couple rapid fire questions.
Yeah.
If you guys don't have anything
Yes.
else.
Hit me.
All right. So we got 3. First, favorite Star Wars movie.
Man, it is a tie right now. I always say Empire Strikes Back, but to be honest, Last Jedi is catching up to it.
Ooh.
Oh, we are
might
best
be
friends
Tommy's new
now.
best friend.
We are best friends
Yep.
now.
Yep.
We are best friends. That's my third
'Cause-
favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah, well, it was my second for a while, but like the more I watch it, I'm like, because Empire has the nostalgia for me. That was my favorite as a kid. Like I watch it every Christmas. It's like a thing I do. Or if I'm sick, I'll throw it on. I just love that movie. But I really do like Last Jedi, and basically the movie is just Empire Strikes Back, but in reverse.
Yeah.
Like they start on the white planet and getting attacked, and and then in Last Jedi they end there, and then in the middle someone gets trained, and then it's like and someone's getting chased the whole time. Like it's the same basic premise but backwards, and I like it. It works. So I don't know. Sue me,
man.
And it took a long time to admit that in public because of how much backlash it would usually get.
Yeah,
because
I just am of the opinion that I just simply do not care what anyone else has to say about it.
Yeah,
you're not changing how I feel. You're not.
Well, and it's not just that, because I kind of feel there. It's just exhausting saying that, and then as soon as people go, oh, how dare you, like one guy at my old job found out I liked it, and I liked the guy. Like we were friends. We're still friends. We still talk, but sometimes he'll just randomly bring up, oh, you still like The Last Jedi? Like randomly. I'm like, dude, go find something better.
That's a mouth breather.
Go find something better to do with your time, man. Come on.
There's a guy that I go to school with. I know he doesn't watch the podcast, so I know he's never going to see this.
So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah, but he knows I do like the podcast, whatever, and that I'm a super fan. But when I told him one time, I brought up that I liked episode 9, and he just was like, we'll just be talking, and like I'll have a different opinion than him on something, and he'll go, oh, well, you like episode 9, so you're just a fake Star Wars fan. And then he just goes and looks at his phone, and I just go,
yep.
But it's okay to be wrong. That's what
it's okay
I mean.
to be. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah. So, favorite Star Wars TV show?
Ooh, I'm gonna say Rebels.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice.
I just what I like about Rebels, like Clone Wars, is really good but it's really long. Like there are snippets of Clone Wars I like better than Rebels, like the Siege of Mandalore and things like that. But as a whole, it's got a little. I feel like it's got a lot more like with the Jar Jar episode, like slogs to get through than highs for being a 7-season episode. But like with the exception of like maybe the first beginning of Rebels, like from the middle of season 1 or the end of season 1 on, it's just like banger after banger after banger. And you got episodes like Jedi Knight that make me feel feelings no matter how many times I watch it. Watching Kanan die on screen protecting his friends will never not make me cry ever. Ugly cry.
Yeah. I get teary.
I don't know. Like I like Mandalorian a lot. I like them all. I'm not saying they're all other ones are bad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that is good.
But last one I got for you: favorite Star Wars character.
Chewbacca.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Because I just identify with him as a person.
That's fair.
Big walking
dog. I do wish you get out of my way. Yeah, basically. And as much as I do like the sequels, I really do wish they'd found something for Chewbacca to do.
Other than to just be in pain for 3 movies
I know, right?
Everyone I know is dead.
Yeah. Like I don't know. Like I really like Solo because I really like Chewbacca in Solo. Like I think Solo is a great movie and doesn't get enough love. But yeah, I feel like there was like other than Chewbacca fake dying and cooking a porg in episode 8 and just kind of like are you telling me episode 7 was literally the first time Han Solo ever used his bowcaster? They've been friends for like 50 years, and that's the first time that Han Solo ever used Chewbacca's bowcaster. Like I'm calling shenanigans, I'm calling shenanigans. But whatever, it's fine. They're not perfect movies. No Star Wars movie is perfect. You can nitpick every Star Wars movie to death. From episode 1 to episode 9. You can, if you go through a fine-tooth comb, you can find flaws in literally every Star Wars movie.
Except episode 3.
No,
that movie is perfect.
I think that is love that has blinded you.
No. That's one of those movies I love too much, and I can't.
No, it's fine. I get it, but it's got problems.
Probably, but I just don't.
It has pacing issues at the very least, but you know what? It's a fun movie, and again, on some level, every Star Wars movie has something of value to add.
Yeah.
Whether it's episode 1's lightsaber fights at the end, like I remember when that movie came out in '99, I was a junior in high school. I saw it 10 times in the theaters. And on the first time I was there, it was the first midnight showing I think anyone had ever done. It's midnight. My dad's sitting next to me. We're watching the film. And halfway through the film, he leans over and goes, "This isn't a very good movie." and my dad could have whispered to me that my mom had just died, like for how I reacted. Because like, how dare you say any Star Wars was a bad movie? But after a while, I kind of realized, you know what? Talking about trade negotiations in the middle of a 3-hour movie, probably not the best thing. I don't know. Like, I get it story wise, but it's not very entertaining. That's for sure. You know, it's really, so everything's got flaws, but there's also a lot of good in every Star Wars movie. Episode 2's got terrible dialogue. And some of episode
no, that dialogue is perfect.
Some of episode 3's got really wooden, terrible dialogue. But you know what? If you meme it enough, it becomes entertaining because now you just think about it as the memes.
Yep. I saw this clip yesterday. It was somebody recorded the theater reaction to the ending of the duel between Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And when Anakin gets his limbs cut off, the audience laughed. And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, there was that, and then like at the very end of like when he like gets caught on fire, they start laughing even harder. I'm like, at this point, I'm crying my eyes out. How are you laughing? It's so tragic.
Because it was, especially when episode 3 came out, the prequels were kind of a joke back then. Like they were about as reviled as for the most part the sequels are now for like the general public. And for me, it really wasn't even until like Clone Wars came out where I started to give the sequels or the prequels a chance. To be honest,
it might just be like because I grew up.
It's your age. It's your age. It's 100% your age. It's what it is.
And
it's the same thing's going to happen in you give the sequels 15 years and the kids now that are like 10,
and then
15,
everybody's
whatever.
gonna be crazy. That's what we've been saying. We know it's because it's history. It repeats itself. The people that grew up with the OT like the OT and hated the prequels. The people that grew up with the prequels love the prequels, hate the new stuff. And the people that are growing up with the new stuff are gonna be like, it's the best thing ever. And I'm happy for them because I'm with Rey Skywalker. I like saying that they get so mad, but you know what? It's how the story went, and that's how it's gonna be. And
that's how it is.
What the story is. So you can cry about it.
Yep. I'm right there with you, man. I used to get bent out of shape about stuff like that, and then I realized, you know what? This is stupid. Just either like it or don't. But like focusing on how negative things are, that's just not healthy. It's not right. If you don't like it, move on. Like all those channels dedicated to everything negative about this stuff, and when you spend your life tearing things apart, like really, you can't find something better to do with your time than being constantly negative. So I try to stay away from that. Like especially even with Black Series stuff. Yeah, there's flaws in the line. There's a lot of things Hasbro can do better, and there's a lot of things I wish Hasbro would do better. But I still collect it because I enjoy toys. I enjoy Star Wars. It's toys of Star Wars. I'm gonna enjoy it for what it is. Whatever they're doing right now, it's loads better than they were doing back in '95 when they released, steroid buff Luke Skywalker that only has a very passing not even a passing resemblance to Mark Hamill. Like the face looks nothing like Mark Hamill.
It's terrible.
He was blonde, and that's about all they had to how he was Mark Hamill. So I'm right there with you guys. Let's just have fun.
Yep.
Rey Skywalker, all of you. Rey Skywalker,
all the way.
And with that, did you have any questions for us before we wrap it up?
I mean, I don't know. I like you guys. I don't really have any questions though. I'm really bad at asking. It's always the same. It's like a job interview. Like, did you have any questions for me? And my question is always like, well, how much am I going to get paid? But I can't. I'm terrible at asking. I'm a bad interviewer because I like to talk about myself. But I guess, why did you start this podcast?
Ooh, that's a good question.
So we always played towards the end of our high school career. We were always playing Xbox together, and we were always talking about Star Wars, especially right off the tail end of Episode 9. Mandalorian was coming out. We were constantly talking about Star Wars.
Hours.
And
hours.
And we came to the standpoint where it's like, not to act like we were better than anybody, but we had a deeper understanding of the Star Wars universe than the average person.
Yeah.
You can take that as whether it's cool or whether it's really lame. We don't care. But
a little bit of both, probably.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we were having hour-long discussions about that, and I think the straw that broke the camel's back was we had a night where I forget what movie came out. I think it was
episode 9.
It was definitely episode.
It was
9.
episode 9. We met up at our local gas station hangout, and we got food with a couple buddies, and we were literally there for 3 hours, and we talked nonstop about the movies.
We used Letterboxd, and we all made on our phones rankings of all the Star Wars like theatrical releases, and we argued with each other for hours about whose list was the most right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was so much fun.
And this was also at the point in time where I vigorously hated The Last Jedi. I've gotten to the point where it's like, I can watch it now. It's still not my favorite, but that's okay.
That's fine. Absolutely. That's fine.
But it was like Tommy was still like, it's like the best one. I was like, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Yes.
And I was being stupid. Like, I don't understand why I was complaining. I was like, well, at the beginning, the bombs fly out of the ships, but it's in space. There's no gravity in space. And I don't know why.
Meanwhile, in Return of the Jedi, the Star Destroyer.
And I don't understand why I was arguing about gravity in a world where there are aliens and wizards. I'm like,
yeah, it's Star Wars. Star Wars is not science fiction. It is science fantasy. There are wizards, there's princesses, it's not a fiction. It's a fantasy.
It's amazing.
No, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, that's where the podcast came from. We tried it once on Tommy's phone in his dining room. I don't know if the recording still exists.
Those are some humble beginnings right there.
It was 15 minutes long, and then we listened to it when it was done, and you could only hear Tommy, so we had to delete it. But we tried that, and then we were like, yeah, we should give up. And then we gave it a couple months, and then we were like, what if we actually did it? And like just balls to the wall, went as hard as we could, and we're like,
it was literally like within 12 hours, we were playing Xbox. It was last summer. Jackson made the YouTube channel. I made the Twitter. And then Jackson also made the Instagram. And then the very next day, we went to Best Buy, bought some crappy microphones that we didn't think were crap, and we bought a camera. And we didn't even buy a camera yet.
No, I had my DSLR, and we didn't know that it had a recording cap on it. So
I found that out the hard way too. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like literally same way. And then from that, we just kept doing it. And now we have studio lights because we had a buddy. Shout out to Corey. His wife was doing online school, and then when she went back into person, she's like, I don't need these studio lights anymore. You guys can have them. So we got these pretty much for free. The only thing I need to get now for them is colored bulbs. So now we're just not sheer white, but add a little flavor to it. But yeah, that's kind of how it started and why we're here now.
Now here we are.
Also, shout out to Out of the Basement for really giving us a nitro start to our career, exposing us.
They're great guys. Absolutely. Love Nate and Justin. Absolutely.
We wouldn't have like the group that we have right now if it wasn't for them. So we are like eternally thankful to Justin, who he came on our show first. He gave us the shout out. So thank you so much, Justin, from Out of the Basement. Awesome.
And aside from that, I mean, the one thing that we like to do before we end our Have a Chat episodes for our viewers is we like to plug our guest if they have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, we like to flex them.
So let's go ahead and share the screen and look at. I'm finally getting the hang of it. I finally figured it out.
Oh, you
so
did.
This is Mike Kaess, the YouTube channel. If you are not subscribed to Mike Kaess, you really should, because you're wrong if you don't. So
if you collect figures and you're not subscribed to Mike Kaess, buddy, what are you doing?
You got to be subscribed.
You really should. You really should. And if you don't, you're just wrong. And so, yeah. And so, again, all of the links to all of Mike Kaess' social media will be in the description to this podcast, whether you're listening or watching. And be sure. Jacob, take us out.
Okay. Be sure to leave a like and leave a comment on this episode. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what movies you like, which ones you don't, and how you got into collecting figures. That's a nice little thing to start in the comments. Or if you want to be really cool, be sure to join our Discord and continue the conversation there. We have tons of fun in there all the time. Really nice community of people. Everybody's really positive. Nobody's tearing anybody down because they like The Last Jedi or not. It's super cool. If you're a Star Wars fan and you like to just discuss things openly, highly recommend joining our Discord. Also, be sure that you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. We're posting videos all the time on TikTok now. If we have like a little fun idea, we're just throwing it out there just because. And yeah, listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, Anchor, wherever podcasts can be listened to if you're on the go in your car. And Spotify has video now, so you can watch the podcast on Spotify. Isn't that neat? Thank you all so very much for watching this episode. And thank you very much to Mike Kaess for joining us today.
It was
We
my
really
pleasure.
appreciate it, man.
Absolutely my pleasure.
That is all from us. I'm Jacob.
I'm
This is
Jackson.
Tommy. This is Jackson. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Toodles, chus, 再见.